Hello, hello. How are you? Want to celebrate the time I actually met the one Lions fan who's excited about being an athletics fan, and there he is in the video. Isn't that fantastic? He's looking right at me. He's looking right at you. He's looking right at everybody. He's a great little guy. Haven't named him yet. I mean, I guess it's trite to call him Tony because he's not a tiger. Anyway, hi, was everybody? I'm going to be indulging in some wonderful public domain poetry. You can hear the pages just fluttering in my hands, can't you? Listen to that. Oh, that's good sound. You can feel the literature in my fingers. Literature as powerful as print. It's a great thing. Anyway, I hope everybody's okay. I'm doing pretty well myself. I think Bogey's got the blues or something. I think he's pining over some. Well, where was she from? I think she was from Sweden. Yeah, he's pining for somebody from Sweden. But aren't we all? Anyway, poetry. I don't have anything organized here. Let's see. I'll take requests. What do you want, Bogey? You don't want to be in the blue light. I know. I'm not getting up and I'm not changing it. What do you want? Well, he's not talking, is he? No one talks anymore these days. They just react. It's good to think. Think before you talk. It's also good to do a video and have it prepared ahead of time. That's one of the golden rules, they say. If you're doing content, you should know what you're going to do ahead of time. I mean, not be kind of a jerk about it either, but there's a good way to be a lovable jerk, I suppose. Oh, here we go. Yes, yes, yes. Here we go. Okay, this man is named. I'm not going to pronounce it right. I got a 50-50 chance of getting it right, and I'm going to get it wrong. And I've never read him before in my life. Edward Smyth Jones. Now, I could assume that's Smith. I would not be wrong in assuming that is Smith. Because Smyth Jones as a Smythe implies there would be an E at the end. So, Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. That's who that is, as I bang my hand against the table in frustration. Because I've never read this man before in my life. I don't know what I'm getting into. You don't know what you're getting into. Neither of us know what we're going to be reading or listening to at the very moment. But he's got a few here. Were I a bird? Were I a bird? Yes. Now, what if I were a bird? Let me think. Well, if I were a bird with the ability to reason, I would be very, very aware of where I leave my leavings, so to speak. I don't think I would be too judgmental on where the nature's whiteout comes from, or goes, I should say. I remember there was an old joke about the. I mean, this is such a class place that the seagulls fly upside down, and then when they go to this, rat hole crappy place, they fly right side up and start dropping their little squirt bombs, I guess you can call them. Fecal material is what I'm saying. I'm trying to be as correct in my my phrasing as possible. It's a good thing to be correct. I mean, you can be lurid at times and say something like poop. Nah, I don't want to say that either. I guess I just did. Anyway, Were I a Bird? Were I a Bird by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. Were I a bird, free born to fly, aloof onto wee, downy wings, my canopy would be the sky. When rosy morn its dawning springs, were I a bird, I'd sweetly sing Earth's vesper song in tree tops high, and chant the carol of the spring to every weary passer-by. Were I a bird, the sweetest voice that human ear has ever heard, the mocking bird would be my choice, for he's the sweetest swinging bird! Exclamation point. I should speak with a little more force in my voice. I guess I need more black coffee in order to, really get down deep into my diaphragm, sit up tall. In fact, I'm going to fix a microphone right now, get a little more height on it, so I don't have to feel like my head is growing beneath my shoulders here. I'll start again if you don't mind. Yes. Were I a Bird by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. Were I a bird free born to fly, aloof unto wee, downy wings my canopy would be the sky. When rosy morn its dawning springs, were I a bird I'd sweetly sing Earth's vesper song in trees tops high, and chant the carol of the spring to every wary passer-by. Were I a bird, the sweetest voice that human ear has ever heard, the mockingbird would be my choice, for he's the sweetest singing bird. Were I a bird, my life would be, I'm keeping with the will divine. I'd sing his carols full and free, in spreading oak and coney pine. Were I a bird, through air I'd roam, just flitting on the morning breeze, in search of summer's sunny dome, to live contentedly at ease. Were I a bird, I'd sing a tune for farmers seeking shady rest beneath the spreading oak in June, in swinging boughs that rock my nest. Were I a bird, I'd scale the cliff. When down dawns the bleak December day, far from the ice and snow I'd shift until the fairest day in May. Were I a bird, a mockingbird, the king of birdies singing songs, my music would forever be heard as I sweet sang to cheerless ones. Were I a bird, I'd seek my rest. When jocund day blows out his light, in boughs that hover o'er my nest, I'd sweetly sing, good night, good night. Oh, I felt the passion in that one. Oh, and it's nighttime too. Oh, that was exhilarating. I never read Edward Smyth Jones in my entire life until that. Were I a bird? If only I was. I would not be sitting here right now. I would be probably oh, birds have a lot of fun in the spring. Come on. Birds have a ball in the spring, bawling and all that. And what do? We sit around just wondering, geez, this summer going to be better than last summer? And if not, what am I going to do if it's worse or better? And then when the summer's over, what do you do then? You sit there and you mourn the loss of summer. And then you got winter, and you're miserable all winter, thinking about next summer. Then spring comes, and then you feel summer coming. Summer happens, and it's a disappointment again. But not for birds. Birds are making such amazing noise like you would never believe on top of telephone poles. Spring is a wild time to be a bird. Oh, if I get reincarnated, let it be a bird. But not an annoying bird, because I don't want to get a BB gun shot on my backside. The Morning Star by Edward Smyth Jones. To ABB. I don't know who that is. ABB. It could be somebody in his personal life. Can I think of any prominent person in the days of public domain poetry that had the initials ABB? Let's see. ABB. ABB. Public domain poetry era. This is about over 100 years ago. So ABB in the turn of the century before the last century. Ooh, I'm hitting my nose here. ABB, ABB. Hmm. It's been a while since I did any of these. Well, I can, tell you other things why. It's honestly, it's technical issues. I needed a longer cable and I needed a better, microphone stand, and that's basically the only reason. The other reason was I just didn't feel that motivated to keep doing this for a while. But my goal is to do 10,000 videos, so I have to self motivate. I have to do it. And the way to self motivate is a great thing. I mean, it's you deny certain things that you enjoy until you get the job done. You know, like I'm not going to be able to enjoy that candy bar until I do this or that. I can't play a video game until I do my homework. That kind of thing. And it used to be like an annoying authority figure person doing that kind of thing. But it's a great self motivator. And for the last I'd say 6 weeks, I was not self motivating. And I like to say that it was more than just nothing more than just a 10-foot cable and an extra microphone. No, it's actually the reading Hilaria the Belloc almost broke me. And that really long poem about wine, a hero. Oh, how do you even like wine? It's grape juice. I don't like grape juice. I mean, does wine even keep you regular? I mean, what's the point of wine? It makes your lips feel kind of heavy, I guess. But the only thing good about wine. Forget it. I hate wine. Give me bubbly beer. I like gas. To ABB, the Morning Star is the name of the poem. Edward Smyth Jones. To ABB, I'll never figure out who that is. I could look it up, but my phone's over there recording this, so I can't. Thou art fair maid, the morning star, the guide of dawning day, and sendest diamond sparkles far to wake the flowers of May. Thou markest earth to bloom anew, a boon thou art wont to give, and spillest out the morning dew, that all may blush and live. Thou guardest with thy hand of might, and never showeth frown. Earth lulleth sleep when cometh night, and wakest her with the dawn. Fair maiden, God has given thee all power near and far, the rosy dawning's light to be, the brightest morning star. As much as I like that poem, I still am just haunted by not knowing who ABB is. Oh, maybe he wrote a poem for his wife or something. Did you ever write a poem for a loved one? I mean, I like old classic rock, and there was a song by The Who um, called "Did You Steal My Money?" And it was one of the lines from the song was, "I'm sorry that I got so drunk. I wrote you a poem." That's a nice, gesture. You screw something up and you write a poem as a form of forgiveness. I mean, it shows thought, it shows care, it shows. I mean, if you're a good poet, I mean, if you're like a, kind of a bad poet, it can show the opposite effect of what you wanted to achieve. I mean, it'd be like a further insult to getting drunk. Anyway, that's an old classic rock song. The song is "Did You Steal My Money" from The Who by the Face Dances album. I know my old rock albums. No, I was just a mere little some nothing back when they came out. The Violin by Edward Smyth Jones. The Violin. This is dedicated to nobody. This is just about a violin. Thrice hail the still unconquered king of song, for all adore and love the master art, that weareth his throne in temple of the heart, and smite chords of passion full and strong, till the music sweet allures the souring throng. Then by the gentle curving of his bow maketh every mellow note and cadence flow, to recompense the world of all its wrong, although the earth is full of cares and throes that tempt the crimson stream of life to cloy. Thou makest glad hearts and trips fantastic toes, and fillest weary souls with mirth and joy. The soul entrancing the cadence of thy strings proclaims these songs unconquered King of Kings. I don't like the title of this poem. I'm going to reread it, but I want you to think. Think in detail of a Jimi Hendrix song. Really, I mean, if you have a good photographic memory like I do, I mean, I have a great photographic memory. I can close my eyes and I could be 16 years old at Yankee Stadium, sitting there watching the last game before the strike, and I can just be there. It's sunny. It's a depressing day. You know the season's going to be over. They're out there. They're playing the Blue Jays. They are way ahead. They blow the lead. Goes into extra innings. They blow the game, and you just sit there. I am right there, back there, in Yankee Stadium, not far from the third baseline, just sitting there. That's a very vivid memory. I just wiped off over 30 years of my life just sitting here right now. So I got a very photographic memory. So just envision Jimi Hendrix playing the guitar on a stage. Just watch a video in your mind and then listen to this poem again. It makes much better sense. And keep in mind, I've never read this before a minute ago, and I made that conclusion. That's the art of poetry. That's the art of any kind of literature. You bring yourself to it. You can bring what you own, your own experience to it. You make up half of the art by your own interpretation. That's the beauty of it. It's even better than paintings because the artist created the image for you and your emotions decide how you feel about that image. With the words, you're creating the image based on what you're reading, and you can create a beautiful image, or you could just interpret it a different way, or you could be thinking about eating hot dogs and baked beans while you're reading it. You know, that's affecting how you're reading the poem, or you could be thinking about doing something you prefer doing else later, and that's affecting the poem. I'm saying think about Jimi Hendrix here. So, I'm not going to say the title this time. By Edward Smyth Jones. Thrice hail the still unconquered king of song, for all adore and love the master art, that weareth his throne in temple of the heart, and smiteth chords of passion full and strong, till music sweet allures the souring throng. Then by the gentle curving of his bow maketh every mellow note and cadence flow, to recompense the world of all its wrong, although the earth is full of cares and throes that tempt the crimson stream of life to cloy. Thou makest glad hearts and trippest fantastic toes, and fillest weary souls with mirth and joy. The soul entrancing cadence of thy strings proclaims the song's unconquered King of Kings. Okay. There's two words in there that don't fit the Jimi Hendrix mentality. That is bow and strings. A bow would work with Jimmy Page because he did that bow thing. on some songs. I think it was How Many More Times and or Dazed and Confused. He would just take out the bow and start playing the strings with it. But mirth and joy is not a feeling I get when I listen to Led Zeppelin. I mean, it's fun music and all, but it's not mirthful or joyful. Um, Generally, I find mirth and joy listening to a good Jimi Hendrix song, even though his songs got pretty bleak too. I mean, you don't get much more bleaker than "Hey Joe," do you? I mean, that's some heavy duty blues imagery he's got going on there. Oh, dark stuff. But the contrast to that is Foxy Lady. That's some very bright stuff. And I might be wrong, but I believe that song was about Roger Daltrey's first wife or his girlfriend at the time. One of those two. Oh, they had long lives, don't they? Oh, some of them do. Poor Jimmy didn't. And speaking of didn't, The End by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. The End. And no, this is not the last poem, it's just the name of the poem. The End. Journey's End. I thought it would be kind of stupid to end all this while reading something called The End. Because it makes too much sense. That's why. It's like looking at the image I decided to put up on there for you to stare at. A White Sox hat that no one ever wears. Have you ever seen anybody wear that hat? Puffy wall art logo. No, no one ever wears that. An athletics hat on a lion, and Bogey just sort of just saying, "Why am I here? Why am I here? Why are you here? Why is anybody here?" The existential questions that no one is ever, ever, ever going to answer. And when we're not here, why are we going to be someplace else? No one has an answer for that either. I've waited. Nothing. Total silence. The End by Edward Smyth Jones. It's best not to think about it. I don't. That's why I don't make too many serious plans. I just take things day by day. It's a good mentality. I don't have to worry about all that stuff like the end. I'm here now. I'm reading now. My voice is in good voice tonight, and I'm reading Edward Smyth or Smith Jones poetry. Like I've never read Edward Smyth or Smith Jones poetry before because I never have. Though man through life so swiftly wends, and o'er its journey runs his race, through rough or smooth or round the bends, and distance pudding. I had read the three previous poems pretty darn good. I do give myself credit. I'm going to pat myself on the back like I've never pat myself on the back before. And I'm not going to feel bad about it because I don't have back hair. But I am going to have to say, I screwed this one up and I have to start over again. It took the fourth poem for me to screw up. Okay, I'm not going to flagellate myself over this. And don't ask me what flagellate means because I can't look it up. My phone is over there, and I'm 10 feet away from it. The End by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. Though man through life so swiftly wends, and o'er its journey runs his race, though rough or smooth or round the bends, in distance putting fleetest friend, and alas, there comes a halting place, a place of rest, the journey's end. Yes. The man through life so swiftly wends, o'er the journey runs his race, from rough and smooth, round the bend, in distance putting fleeting friend, and alas, there comes a halting place, a place of rest, the journey's end. I guess that's, pretty cut and dry stuff, isn't it? What does that make me think of? Running a race and it ends. Going to the grocery store. I'm at the end of my journey. I'm at the grocery store. I buy the milk. I pay for the milk. I'm at the journey's end. I bought and paid for the milk. I'm in the car. I'm driving home. I'm at the home. My journey's end. Really, it could be just about anywhere. A place to rest. Although you can't, rest at a supermarket. I don't think they would take too kindly if you curled up on aisle and just, hug the loaf of bread or something. That would not be something I'd recommend doing. I would never do it. I mean, that's not a comfortable place in the first place. There's probably mice in some of those places. Not a good place. No, 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 don't do that. A man through life so swiftly wends, and o'er its journey runs his race, though rough and smooth or rounds the bends, and distance putting fleetest friend. At last these comes a halting place, a place of rest the journey's end. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna, not get into that one too much. Oh, fun. This one has quotes in it. And I don't read quotes. No, I don't read quotes. I read what's in the quotes. I don't say quote unquote because this is poetry. It's supposed to have a certain musical element to it. And there's a few things that destroy musical elements worse than a word like quote. The title, quote, poet, unquote, given me. I don't want to say it like that. That's mean. It's a mean way to say things. People should be nice to one another and not say quote unquote. Unless they're, talking about something like, where they have to say quote unquote and they don't want to, own the statements they're making. I mean, that can happen. But usually when they do that, they're citing something that's kind of mean anyway. So I don't want to do that. And I'm just reading public domain poetry. So again, I'm not going to flagellate myself. And I can't look up what that word means because my phone's over there 10 feet away. Not Yet a Poet by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. Aye, many a rhyme my pen has flown in oblivion, all unknown. Still many more, perchance I say, float on in one unbroken lay. But ask me naught of where or when, long as they ring in hearts of men. Dear friend, I say these words to you, which through the ages will be true, though I have power to combine these subtle rhymes of each sweet line. Yet I shall never live to see the title poet given me. Wow, I could have written that one. Except I can't write anything that rhymes. I wouldn't even be that close to being a poet. Ugh. Oh, to have talent. Oh, to have talent. Oh. Oh, I weep. That's okay. So many people go around now and they don't have any talent either. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. This is one, two, three. I don't really know. It's just kind of a strange one. It's because it's got chorus. It's got To My Lost Brother. I'm not even sure what I'm reading here. I don't. I. How could I be sure? I've never read this poet in my life. And even though he even declares himself not yet a poet, I think he became one. And this is a good example of it. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. To My Lost Brother in caps. Oh, that's just like saying quote or unquote. I'm not going to say the caps. I'm going to remind myself that again later. I'm not going to say the caps. You hear that, Bogey? No caps. No caps. No caps. No caps. Okay. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth or Smith Jones. To My Lost Brother. No caps. Ships the angry sea is lashing, but I launch my little bark, though the thunder peals are crashing, and the sea is pitchy dark. See by lightning's vivid flashing how to shift my tattered sail. Far across the billows dashing, I am floating with the gale. Floating, floating, floating ever on the stormy deep blue sea. Oh, that is so funny. Oh my god, I'm trying not to laugh. Oh, I'm trying not to laugh. That's so silly sounding. Floating, floating, floating. Oh, it's not going to be all like this, is it? Oh, it might be. Oh, no. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth Jones, to my lost brother. I'm going to say chorus before that part that made me laugh. So, maybe if I read this a little more seriously, seriously, I might not crack up to myself. Oh, this is funnier than Belloc talking about always keep a hold of nurse for fear of finding something worse. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth Jones. To my lost brother, ships the angry sea is lashing, but I launch my little bark. Oh, even that's bizarre. Oh, what are they doing to me? What are they doing to me? I should not have. I should not have picked Edward Smyth Jones. Even though I'm really enjoying this. I'm skipping this one. I'm going to do this one last. Okay. A Tribute to Dunbar by Edward Smyth Jones. The sweetest singer once thou wast, but art no more. An elf thou waste of what thou now shalt be. Where thou art in realms of that celestial shore, there thou shalt sing through all eternity. We, peerless bard, bewail thy loss, and shed heartbroken tears, though meekly thou hast borne thy cross, and winged the flight of spheres. Thrice blessed singer, wrapped in heavenly bliss, of earth's poor souls. What am I reading here? Of earth's poor souls, thy fortune who can tell? Who can tell what I'm? What is this? The seventh poem I read. I can't skip to the. I can't skip again. I'll start over. I tribute to Dunbar, by Edward Smyth Jones, the sweetest singer once thou. It's not waste. Waste is spelled Waist or Waste. This is spelled Wast. I am middle aged, I say, and I have never seen this word in my life. Is this Old English that's being translated back when they had like a big S that looks like an F? I don't know. How many? Wast. Wast. Where there are art wast. Wast shout. Wast shout. I'm reading this to see if there's a rhyming scheme. Wast. I'm going to say wast. I've put it to a vote. The word is wast. If it's wrong, it's wrong. A Tribute to Dunbar by Edward Smyth Jones. The sweetest singer once thou wast, but art no more. An elf thou wast of what thou now shalt be. Where thou art in realms of that celestial shore, there thou shalt sing through all eternity. We peerless bard, bewail thy loss, and shed heartbroken tears, though meekly thou hast borne thy cross and winged the flight of years. Thrice blessed singer, wrapped in heavenly bliss, of earth's poor souls thy fortune who can tell? Perchance thy splendid lot of be solely this, to change thy lute with the angel Israfel. If so, then smite thy golden strings with fingers nimble strong, till all along fair heavens rings with cadence of thy song. Thee, tyrant earth, once held, imprisoned soul that suffered tortures of relentless strife, fair haven now holds within her sheltered fold, and gives thee robe and harp eternal life. Grant him, O God, unfaltering breath, to sing from heaven afar a song to cheer our souls in death. The peerless Paul Dunbar. All this for Paul Dunbar? Why, Bogey? Why? Paul Dunbar? Even that lion's starting to look angry at me over that. Paul Dunbar. It sounds like a candy bar. Paul Dunbar. I can't look it up. My phone is over there. This is driving me crazy. I'll read it again. Wast. I should have known it was going to be a Paul Dunbar. A tribute to Dunbar. He didn't say Paul though. Dunbar. That does sound like a candy bar. There was a candy bar that sounded like that. Dunbar. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of the last time I had a fever dream. The sweetest singer once thou wast, but art no more. And elf thou wast of what thou now shalt be, where thou art in realms of that celestial shore, there thou shalt sing through all eternity. We peerless bard bewail thy loss, and shed heartbroken tears, though meekly thou hast borne thy cross, and winged the flight of years. Thrice blessed singer, wrapped in heavenly bliss, of earth's poor souls thy fortune who can tell? Perchance thy splendid lot be solely this, to change thy lute with the angel Israfel. If so, Israfel. It's a name of an angel. Okay. If so, then smite thy golden strings with fingers nimble strong, till all along fair heaven rings with cadence of thy song. These tyrant earth once held, imprisoned soul that suffered tortures of relentless strife, fair heaven now holds within her sheltered fold, and gives thee robe and harp eternal life. Grant him, O God, on faltering breath, to sing from heaven afar, a song to cheer our souls in death, to the peerless Paul Dunbar. Well, that's a very nice tribute. Let me look at that name again. Paul Dunbar. A.B.B. No, that's not. Well, that poem wasn't for Paul Dunbar. A.B. To A.B.B. Could be to his lost brother. Okay. Oh, this is the one I failed to read the last time, and it's. Oh, this is the goofy one. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth Jones. Okay, I'm gonna. Let's see. I got something that can hurt my hand here. Let me see if I can hurt my hand, so I could be a little more serious talking about this. Okay, what can I hurt my hand with here? I'm gonna dig my fingernail into my palm. Okay. Just distract me so I don't end up laughing here. Okay. There we go. That's not really hurting, but it's just a little weird feeling. I don't really have a fingernail that's long enough to, do any kind of sensation in my palm. Well, maybe I shouldn't do this because this is making me feel funnier. Um, oh, this is gonna make me laugh, and I don't want to laugh. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth Jones. To my lost brother, ships the angry sea is lashing, but I long. Okay, this is a scary poem. Angry sea is lashing. He's lost, brother. He's in the water. He's lost. It's dark. It's rainy. It's you got the big waves, and it's public domain poetry time. So it's like an old wooden boat, and it's like tipping and tilting, and it's scary. That's not funny. So when I see floating over, I'm not gonna be laughing when I read that. To my lost brother, ships the angry sea is lashing, but I launch my little bark. Though the bark. Floating with the Gale by Edward Smyth Jones. To my lost brother, ships the angry sea is lashing, but I launch my little bark. Though the thunder peals are crashing, and the sea is pitchy dark. See by lightning's vivid floating. How to shift my tattered sail. Far across the billows dashing, I am floating with the gale. Chorus. Floating ever on the stormy deep blue sea, far from father and dear mother, and my true love away from thee. Go ye zephyrs, sweetly laden, cheer my loved ones in their wail. Tell my wee sweet Brighton bright-eyed maiden, I am floating with the gale. When the siren maids are waking and are singing wild sea songs, dear, they start my hearts to aching, for its love to thee belongs. Now my love lorn soul is shaking, dark and mysterious. Okay. With a spell of bitter wail, and my heart is sadly breaking, for I am floating with the gale, of course. Now my hopes are fading ever. Gloom is chasing away the bliss. Dear, I know that I can never come thy ruby lips to kiss, but my heart will cling forever. I am clutching this paper like I've never held anything in my life to the love I oft did hail, for those ties I can never sever, though I'm floating with the gale. Of course, there my heart is ever longing. Long surf men my bark to save. Through my brain these thoughts are thronging of a grave beneath the wave. Of loved ones my heart is wronging. In the belly of the whale, round my soul their ghosts are thronging. As I'm floating with the gale, chorus, dear, I fain would be returning to the cove just where thou art, while my languid breast is burning, light and love full of my heart. But cruel fate my hopes is burning, and winds blows against my sail. Well, out of death my life is burning. I'm still floating with the gale. It ends with chorus. I think there's some things missing here. Okay. All right. I'm gonna read this one more time in agony. That way, it's gonna be painful for me, so I can't ruin it. To my lost brother, ships the angry sea is lashing, but I launch my little bark. Though the thunder peals are crashing and the sea is pitchy dark, see my lightning's vivid flashing, how to shift my tattered sail. Far across the billows dashing, I am floating with the gale. Floating, floating, floating ever on the stormy deep blue sea. Far from father and dear mother and true love, away from thee. Go ye zephyrs, sweetly laden, cheer my loved ones in their wail. Tell my wee sweet bright-eyed maiden, I am floating with the gale. When the siren maids are waking and are singing wild sea songs, there they start my heart to aching, for its love to thee belongs. Now my love lorn soul is shaking. What a spell of bitter wail, and my heart is sadly breaking, for I'm floating with the gale. Now my hopes are fading ever. Gloom is chasing away the bliss. Dear, I know that I can never come to thy ruby lips to kiss, but my heart is clinging forever to that love I often do wail, for those ties I can never sever, though I'm floating with the gale. Dear, my heart is ever longing. Long surf men my bark to save. Through my brain these thoughts are thronging of a grave beneath the wave. Of loved ones my heart is wronging in the belly of the whale. Round my soul these their ghosts are thronging as I'm floating with the gale. Dear, I fain would be returning to the cove just where thou art, while my languid breast is burning, light and love full of my heart. But cruel fate my hopes is spurning, and winds blow against my sail. While our death my life is burning, I'm still floating with the gale. Done. I feel like I just got through a major constipation battle, and it feels good. Oh, that was worth doing. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too. It's always good to chuckle reading some of these things. Anyway, I gotta sort through my maze of paperwork here, so I'm gonna end this video now. And don't think too much about Paul Dunbar or wailing gales or Jimi Hendrix playing violins or being a wee bird flying around pooping on certain people. Have a good night. That's a good way to be, and that's a good way to always be. Take care.